Hey, chefs. It is Chef Evelyn here, and happy Wednesday. I'm so excited. I wanted to come on live and I wanted to talk about the 4 things that you need to hit your goals in your business next year. And I wanted to come on because I'm super excited. I just finished an amazing coaching program experience, and I've got a couple of more coaching programs that I am either going to continue on or pick back up on at the end of this month and at the beginning of next month, and I'm super excited about it. And I really want to tell you how it has elevated my business and share with you the 4 things that you need to have if you want to hit your goals in your business next year. And that goal could be simply you finally want to leave your corporate job and start this culinary business. That goal could be you want to make more money. That goal could be you want to work less and have more time. It could be a lot of different things, right? And so if this is your first time watching me live, welcome. I'm Chef Evelyn. If you are watching the replay in the group or on YouTube, hello. Make sure that you turn your notifications on or subscribe to the channel if you like these types of videos. And this video will be in a replay playlist with lots of other videos to help you go from corporate employee to culinary entrepreneur. And so before we get into today's 4 things that you need to grow your business in this next year, this next decade, I just want to let you know that tomorrow on November 14th at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, I am going to be doing my last free masterclass of the year, of the month, of the decade. And so all the details will be either in the comments or the description box of this video. If you're watching this in the group, then you should go to the event section and you'll see that. But it's tomorrow, Thursday, November the 14th at 7:30 p.m. So if this is your first time watching with me, like I said, I'm Chef Evelyn. I used to be a chemical and environmental engineer before I left that career behind to become a chef. And one of the things that I noticed very quickly was that that the traditional models of being in food weren't going to work for someone who had already built up a pretty lucrative corporate career, and it wasn't really going to maintain my lifestyle. So right off the bat, I knew that like working in a restaurant or a hotel or a cruise ship was not going to work for me. And so I was like, okay, that just means I need to start my own business. And so I decided, I was like, okay, in food, if you start your own business, I guess that means you cater or you personal chef. And so went down that route and very soon saw that I was working even more than I was working when I was in corporate, which was part of the reason why I wanted to leave corporate. I was working even more catering and shuffling stuff around and doing all this kind of stuff until I found the business models that really allowed me to have that work from home, work from anywhere lifestyle that allowed me to generate the kind of income that would surpass or even match my corporate income and kind of give me that. I wanted to make money online, but I still wanted to be in food, but I also was curious about, internet marketing and all that kind of stuff, and trying to figure out how all that went together. So that's just a little bit of how I got started. And that was over 10 years ago, which is insane to me. And so I'm super excited about that. But that kind of leads me to my first point. So today I'm going to be talking very quickly about the 4 things you need in order to hit your goals in this next year, particularly in this next decade. And the first one is you need to be honest with yourself. A lot of times we aren't honest with ourselves because we don't feel like we have an option. And what I mean by this, recently I was having one of my group coaching calls for one of my programs for chefs and culinary entrepreneurs. And we were having a conversation, and one of my clients, she finally admitted, she was like, I love food, but I don't want to cook for other people. And I was like, yes. And I said, I've been there. I said, I wanted to be a chef that worked from home. I wanted to be able to be in food and be able to work from anywhere. I wanted to be able to make money online. I wanted a little piece of the coaching world and a little piece of the influence world and a little piece of the chef world and a little piece of this. And I had to be honest with myself that is what I really wanted. I think that because I didn't know that there were different options, I just went with what I thought I could do, which was being a personal chef, selling cakes, doing meal prep, catering, and I didn't enjoy any of it. I did it, and I took lots of different jobs here and there trying to figure out what was available for me in the industry, what different things I can do. And I can be honest that for years, I didn't find anything until I basically said, I'm going to create my own thing. And I basically remember studying under different people in different industries that had nothing to do with food, and they couldn't even convey to me how what they did would work for what I was doing. But I took it upon myself over this past 10 years to really figure out how to put it all together. And I had to be honest with myself, like, I do want that laptop lifestyle, but I also still want to be in food. I didn't want to have to change my passion so that it could fit a business model that existed. I wanted to make my passion have its own business model that worked around the way I wanted to work and live. And I had to be honest with myself about that. I didn't want to schlep all the hot boxes and the cold boxes and the coolers and the this and that when I was catering. I didn't want to cook in people's kitchens all day long while they were at work and then leave their food in the refrigerator, in the freezer. You know, I didn't want to package 80, 90 meals and do meal prep. Like, that's not what I wanted to do. And I definitely know I didn't want to work in a restaurant or a hotel. And I think it took me a really long time to be honest with myself about what I really wanted, that I really wanted to make a substantial amount of income, and I didn't want to have to kill myself in the process. I wanted to use social media till its fullest potential. You know, back when they used to call it internet marketing, right? Like, back when that was a brand new thing, I was like, I want to do that, but with food. How do I do that? And I don't know if I would have asked myself those questions had I not been honest with myself about what I wanted. And I had to be honest that I didn't want to work nights. I didn't want to work weekends. I didn't want to work holidays. And even when I had the opportunity to work for different celebrities full time, to be honest, I don't think I've ever said this publicly. I turned them down because I didn't want to be attached to one family. I knew that there was this thing out there, this way that I could work that would allow me to really deep dive my passion for food, but allow me the lifestyle that I wanted. I never felt like I had to choose. I never felt like I had to choose between it has to work like this or you're going to have to change industries. I just kept pushing and building and experimenting and trying until I figured it out. And now, like, it's amazing. And so one of the things, that's my first tip to you, to be honest, is to be honest about what you really want. You may not want what I wanted, right? You may not want to make money online. You may not want to work from home or work from anywhere. You know, like, I like the fact that I can just go off to another city or another place and I can still run my business from anywhere. That may not be important to you, but there may be some things that are important to you that you haven't been like, I don't know how to make that work with the industry, this culinary industry that I've chosen. And I'm here to tell you that it is possible, okay? It is absolutely, absolutely possible. But to get an out-of-box answer, I had to ask an out-of-box question, which means I had to allow myself to think outside of the box. So there's this internet coach, and I love the phrase that she says all the time. She talks about embracing the and I have really learned that it doesn't have to be an or. It can be an and. But in order for it to be an and, you have to be willing to ask different questions, to make different decisions, to make different moves, to take risk in order to do that. I took some risk that didn't work out. You know, I've done some things that didn't go so great, but over the years, it's actually been longer than a decade now that I think about it. Over these past 11 years, it has really paid off for me to bet on myself, to believe that what I really wanted, I could really, really have. Okay. So that's the first tip, is to be honest with yourself. The second tip is you need to have a demeanor of a yes. Like your default response when the things that you want and the things that you need come to you, your default response needs to be yes. And a lot of times our default response is, oh, I don't know, let me think about it, I got to figure it out. And I realized that didn't work for me to hit my goals. That once I knew and was honest with myself about what I wanted, how I wanted to work, to be honest with myself about how much money I wanted to make, like to be honest with myself about how I didn't want to work, like I didn't want to be off in somebody's kitchen all day. Once I was honest with myself about that, I had to then start doing the things that aligned with what I wanted. I had to start saying yes to things. And so I had to make different decisions that I had made in the past. And I will tell you, like even recently, I have made some investments, and I'm about to make some significant investments that are outside of my comfort zone, that are stretching me, that I am like, how is this about to happen? And I'm like, you know what? I will figure it out, because I know it's what I need to go to the next level for what I want to do. I know that if I could have figured out how to do it already, I would have done it already. And so you really have to have a demeanor of yes. You have to have an attitude of yes. And I used to joke and say that no was my default answer. Like I was never a person that struggled with saying no. And I have healthy boundaries. And I do. But when it came to my goals and when it came to building my business, that first no response, or that hesitant response, because hesitation is doubt, and doubt, as they say, kills more dreams than fear ever will. Like that hesitation, like, has made me miss out on so many opportunities. I'm gonna tell you guys a story that I've never told publicly. I was on a nonprofit foundation a couple of years ago. I was on the board, and I was helping develop curriculum for youth, and we had a celebrity ambassador, and the celebrity ambassador, this charity was run by his aunt. Okay, so this very famous celebrity, the foundation was in honor of his first cousin and was run by his aunt. And so I remember we were having meetings, and we had flown to Chicago to have a meeting, and she was talking to me about, the kind of food that I prepared. And at this time, I was just like, I'm just this, that, and the third. And I had said no to a lot of things that were inviting me to say yes in my life. I had said no to want to talk about healthy eating. I had said no to want to do healthy demos. I just was like, I don't want to be considered the healthy eating chef and blah, blah, all of these things, right? And so she asked me just randomly as we were walking down the streets of Chicago, she said, Evelyn, do you do vegan cuisine? And here's the things that I absolutely could. Like, I can cook anything. Like, you know how to make stuff taste good. And because my default response was a no, and I was like, no, I don't really like to. That's not really fun to me. That's not what I want to do, and the blah, 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 and the blah, blah, blah. And I'm just going on and on and on in my default response of no, right? Because that's what I always do, right? No, oh, no, I'm not about to pay for that, or no, I can figure it out on my own, or no, that's too expensive, or no, I don't have the money, or no, I can't do it right now, or no. Like, no was my default response. So I'm going on and on and on in my big, hellacious no. And I finally shut my mouth, and I said, oh, why do you ask? And she said, well, never mind. She was like, my nephew, the celebrity, I'm going to tell you who he is in a second. My nephew, the celebrity, is looking for a new personal chef. I couldn't undo the no. I could not undo the no. And it burned. Oh, when I say you it burned, because let me tell you who the potential client was. I don't know if I should tell you. Should I tell you? Listen, I don't know if I should tell you. I just don't know if I should tell you. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, it burns me on the inside. It burns me on the inside. Anyway, I'll tell you who the potential client was. I've not been to culinary school, but I love to cook, and I'm a health coach who helps people turn their health around by changing diet and lifestyle. Will this masterclass be beneficial for me? Yes, Maggie. Yes, it will be. You don't have to have gone to culinary school. And I'm even going to talk about why culinary school is not really the answer that most people who are changing from corporate careers to more food-based careers, while it's not the answer. It's fun, but it's not the answer. But listen, let me tell you who the potential client was. It was Common. It was Common. As in Common Sense the rapper. Yeah. And y'all, to be honest with you, this wasn't the first time I did a no. I had another who was a former client that I had done several dinner parties for him and his family. I had been the personal chef to his son, to one of his sons. I had done dinner parties for his daughter, who is now acclaimed in her own right. And I was writing for their EU magazine, like I was doing recipes for them. Like I would, this family, this well-known family was really in my corner, okay? They were ordering cakes for me from the holidays, like it was a thing, you know? And so I remember I actually turned this family down twice because my default setting was a no. And after these three things happened, I was like, I have got to change my default setting from being a no to a yes, because where could that yes take me? And in the past several years, when I have said yes to things that have made me uncomfortable, to things that have scared the crap out of me, to things that have stretched me, to things that would grow me, to things that challenged me mentally, emotionally, financially challenged me. Listen, I have emptied my bank account on more than one occasion to invest in myself, and I have invested in myself and I've always made it back. But was I scared to death every time I did it? Absolutely. But let me tell you about this family. So I had, like I said, I had done several dinner parties for them, you know, had done desserts and different things. And so I remember that the wife of this well-known person, and I'll tell you who they are in a second, the wife of this well-known person called me up personally one day. Okay, normally I had been dealing with their assistant, but she had called me up personally one day. And she had said, you know, we're looking to get a new personal chef. Not full time, but because we travel a lot, you know, that when we're back in the city and we're having high profile dinner parties and things like that, someone who can come in and we think you'd be a great fit because you have your own business, but we love your food, we this, that, the third. And because in my mind, I couldn't see the potential, because I could not see the opportunity on the other side, because I thought it was going to be difficult or restrictive or whatever I thought, I basically told her, like, I don't know if that's going to make the most financial sense, because it's kind of like you want to be on call and the blah, blah, blah. Like, I was doing all of this, right? And let me tell you who this family was, who I was the personal chef to their son, like, was going every other week to one of their son's house doing meals, had done several dinner parties for their daughter, who now has her own large platform, and had done several dinner parties for this family. The husband of this wonderful wife that called me and asked me to do this, who I was writing recipes for their magazine and doing all these things, was none other than New York Times bestselling author and megachurch pastor Bishop T.D. Jakes. And fast forward maybe a year or two after that they were going to be expanding their church and their business to include a convention center, and they wanted to hire me to build out the menu and do all of these things and all of this stuff. And I was like, no. We're talking about the Bishop T.D. Jakes, who knows Oprah, who knows, it has her own talk show, TV show, movies, production companies, record labels, book tours, blah, 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 right? You have got to have, as they would say, a spirit of yes, but you have got to get to a yes. And let me tell you what's so frustrating about where I am now is that when I get on strategy calls with potential clients, I have been where they are. And I'm never going to force anybody to say yes. But I know that if they decided to invest in themselves, if they decided to take the risk, if they decided I'm going to say yes and I'm going to figure out how later, I know how their life would change. Because after I learned those very, very hard lessons of know me and my default response and missing out on some amazing opportunities that could have taken me so much further had I just said, this is not the most comfortable thing right now, but this will get me closer to where I want to be. Like, it was crazy. And so when I hear them get on and they're excited and they're like, yes, I want to do it. Yes, I'm ready. Yes, I'm this. Yes, I'm that. But, right? It is heartbreaking to me. It is not about a sale. It's heartbreaking to me because I know that yes is not even a not right now. I know that they're not going to circle back. I know when they say, oh, I'm going to do it next year, they're not. Not only are they not going to do it, okay, it's going to be double the price. But that's the whole side of the point. I know they're not going to do it. I know that they're going to spend another year or 2 or 3 running around in circles, being stressed out, trying to figure it out on their own. And why do I know this? Is because it's exactly what I did. Like, I was trying to figure it out on my own. And it didn't work. I missed too many great opportunities. Had I known how to negotiate or ask for what I really wanted, I could have worked something out in all of the situations that would have been mutually beneficial. I didn't have the right guidance. And so when I started putting myself in situations where I was like, yes, okay, I'm going to say yes and I'm going to figure it out. And let me just strap on my seatbelt because I don't know what I just signed up for. It has been life-changing. So because this is long, let me get to my next point. So the first thing you need to hit your goals this year and beyond is to be honest with yourself about what you really, really want. And if you missed that first point, you're going to have to watch the replay. But you're going to be really, really honest with yourself about what you want, how you want to work, how you don't want to work, how you want to make your money, all of that kind of stuff. You have to be honest with yourself. The second thing is you have to have a default of yes. You just say yes and you figure it out how. At the beginning of next year, this next decade, listen, because it is a new decade, I'm going to be purging this group because there's a lot of people in here who are asking questions, who are in need of support, and the support is available to them, and they keep saying no. They don't verbally say no, but they say no because they are not taking advantages of the resources that are available to them, to the mentorship that is available to them, to the coaching that's available to them. They think that they can DIY their way to 6 figures or DIY their way to 7 figures. On what planet? If that was the case, if that was the case, everybody could do it. If they could build this kind of brand that they wanted to build, they would have done it by now. And so I'm going to be purging a lot of the no people from this group, and I'm only going to stick with yes people. And I did it years ago on my email list for my front-facing brand, for my culinary brand, and I think I purged 2,000 people off my email list because they weren't yes people. And I was like, once it clicks over that you are a yes and figure out kind of, like, you just don't have time to deal with people who are getting ready, wanting to get ready. I said in my email today, like, ready is a mythical place. Like, here's the thing. I know that you want something different. You know that you want something different. You know, in order to get something different, that you're going to have to do different things. Yet people are making the same decisions that got them where they are right now. And like, the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over and over again, expecting different results. And I'm like, I know you're not insane. So what is it? It's fear. It's you're not honest with yourself about what you want. You don't have faith in yourself or your abilities. You don't have faith that you can make it work for you, even though there's evidence, right? And it's just heartbreaking. Let me move on. Okay, so those are the first 2 things. Honest about what you really want and how you really want to work and how much money you really want to make and how you really want to live. You have to be honest with yourself. The second thing is you have to have a yes. And for those of you that have just popped on, I want to let you know that tomorrow I'm going to be doing a live masterclass. It's going to be my last one of the year for chefs and aspiring culinary entrepreneurs. It's called How to Go from Corporate Employee to Culinary Entrepreneur, where I'm going to be going in depth about what you really need to get to that lifestyle that you want, right? What it really takes, okay? if that is the business model that you want. So let's hop into number 3. Okay, number 3 is that you need a plan. Where are you trying to go? And here's the thing, you cannot determine where you're trying to go if you haven't been honest about what you want, right? So let's just say I want a Krispy Kreme donut. Like, let's say I just want a Krispy Kreme donut. Like, let's just say that's just in my spirit right now. Like, that's just like, I need a donut. Even though I've been going really easy on the sweets lately. Well, now that I know that what I really want is a Krispy Kreme donut and not a bundt cake, then I know that where I need to go is to the Krispy Kreme store and not to the bundt cake store. Okay? And so once you're honest about what you want, and once you have said, yes, I'm going to allow myself to have this donut, then it's like, what's the plan? The plan is I need to go to the Krispy Kreme donut shop. Now, unlike a donut shop, unlike a cake shop, right? You may know where those are. But in business, particularly in this culinary entrepreneurship world, you may not know exactly where there is. You know you want to get there. You know you want to work from home. You know you want that laptop lifestyle. You know you want to be able to take extended vacation. You know you want to make money while you're sleeping. You know you want to make money on the internet. You know you still want to be in food. You know you don't really want to cook for other people, but you still love to cook and you just want to entertain your family and friends. You know you want to make money for cooking your own dinner and you want to make residual income. Like, you know you want to do that. And you've decided that that's where you want to go. So that's your plan. But the fourth thing you need is a roadmap. You know, let's say you were in a new city and you were in a new city and you wanted the Krispy Kreme donuts. Even though you know where you want to go in that city, you don't know where the donut shop is. So you have to put it in your GPS and get the directions on how to get there, right? You have to get the directions on how to get there. And the reason why you trust the GPS is because the satellites have been where you want to go. And so it gives you step-by-step directions on how to get to your desired destination. And a lot of times people are landing in new cities, which is like, I want to do this new high-end culinary brand chefpreneurship thing, and not the personal chef thing, not the meal prep thing, not the catering thing. There are roadmaps for that. And if that is what you want, then I am not the person to teach you how to get there, because that's not where I've been. I've been there, but that's not where I wanted to go. I got off and got back on and was like, that's not where I wanted to go. But you need a roadmap. You need a GPS, right? And you need a system and a process to follow to be able to get to where you want to go. And I'm always amazed at the people who are like, nope, I'm just going to get in the car and drive and figure it out. And if I kind of see cars that I think are going the way I want to go, I'll just follow them. Because that's what we do when all we're going to do is watch free videos and free webinars and free master classes and try to copy what somebody else is doing on the internet. It looks like they're going in the direction that we want to go. And it looks like they know where they're going. And the next thing you know, they take an exit and get off, and you're like, oh, I didn't want to go over there, but I've been following them and I've been kind of copying them, or I've been inspired by them. And that's not where you want to go. I want to give you a great example. I had a client earlier this year, and we were on a coaching call, and she asked me if I knew about this particular really popular chef. And I was like, yeah, I know about him. And so she was like, what do you think of his business strategy? And I said, I think his business strategy is great if you want to go where he's going. And I said, you may not know where he's going. And so if you follow his strategy, or if you try to piece it together, you may not end up where you want to go because you don't know where he's going. And so this person, this chef, right, great business model, super successful, ended up opening restaurants, which was the complete opposite of what this person wanted. And I remember saying to them, like, see, his strategy was XYZ 1, 2, 3 because this is where he wanted to go. Okay, you have to understand that. And so I will challenge you that if you want to hit your goals in your business, next year, this year, if you know that there's nothing special about January 1st, okay, that it's just a date on the calendar, and you're like, I don't want to wait that long. I'm ready to start now so I can get a jump start so that by this time next year, I could be further along than I even imagined. Like, then you need a roadmap. And so whether you work with me or someone else who is going where you want to go, you need a roadmap. You need a guide who has been where you are trying to go, who has already been where you're trying to go, who knows how to navigate the terrain, who can tell you, ooh, you know what, there's traffic up ahead. Here, get off here and save, X many minutes. And in this case, it could be dollars or it could be time, right? I had a coaching call with a client a couple of weeks ago, and she has a part of her business that, we are refining, and she was doing everything manually, like taking appointments, taking calls, taking payments, getting questionnaires, going back and forth with clients manually. And I gave her some tools to put in place to automate all of that. Like, the quality of her life is going to change just from one conversation that we had. And we hadn't even got to the super building stuff, right? Like, this was just like, we're just going to get your time back, which is something she can never get back. I tell people all the time when they're worried about losing money or whatever, I'm like, listen, yes, you need to have a healthy level of concern and stewardship over your finances. But more importantly, you need to be looking at, how can I collapse time frames? How can I quantum leap ahead? Most people are terrified to spend their money, but will waste their time. And I'm like, you got this backwards. Like, the most limited resource any of us have is our time. It's not guaranteed, which is why I never understand when people are like, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna do it next year. You may not be alive next year. I may not be alive next year. Life may change next year. Circumstances may happen next year. I think about when I got diagnosed with cancer, I was able to leave what I was doing because I had already started building my business. And I think about what would have happened if I had waited and was like, oh, I'm going to wait until I have done X or save X or whatever X. Like, all of these moving targets that we put in place. And it's really just fear, putting it off, saying I've got to be mindful of this. It's just fear. I've been there. It's just fear. And so I just want to say this as I recap, and I definitely want to take your questions for sure. If you have any, your time is your most valuable resource. I think about, we see people passing away all the time on the internet, or something happens to people all the time because we have the arrogant belief that our time is guaranteed. And it's like, it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, all we have is the decision we can make in this moment. And it's like, I'm just not going to wait. And so, listen, I will tell you, if you do not have a dispensation of yes, inside of yourself, you may not see yourself in this group in the beginning of the year, because what I realize is procrastination, fear, a spirit of no is contagious, and it spreads like cancer. And I am cultivating a community of people who are like, I'm saying yes to my dreams. I'm saying yes to what I want. I'm saying yes to what I need. I'm saying yes to doing whatever I need to do to get where I want to be, to do what I know I'm supposed to be doing. So let's do a quick recap. And then if you want to type your questions in the chat, I would love to take your questions. And just remember, I'm going to put the link in the comments below on how to register for the masterclass that I'm doing tomorrow. So I'm just grabbing the link here, you guys. But listen, let's do a quick recap, okay? Number one is that you have to be honest with yourself about what you want, how you want to work. Listen, say it with me. It's okay. If you want to be a chef and you really don't want to cook for others in the traditional capacity, even if it is catering or personal chef or meal prep, this is a safe space. You can say that you don't want to cook in that way. I know a lot of people that don't want to do that. There is the link in the comments if you want to register. Listen, it's okay. I had to be honest with my own self. I was like, I don't want to be schlepping stuff around. I don't want to be hauling things back and forth. I don't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. It didn't feel fun. It didn't feel creative. That's not what I envisioned for myself when I went to culinary school and when I gave up my engineering job. I didn't want to be working more than I was when I was in corporate. I didn't want to be making less than I was making in corporate. And I remember the day I decided, I just said, I want to be in food. I want to work for myself. I want to be able to work from anywhere. And I want to make more than I was making in engineering. I had to be honest with myself with all of that. I had to be honest that I wanted to make money online, that I wanted to have recurring revenue. You know, I had to be honest with myself. And so the second thing is you need a yes. Sometimes you got to say yes to what you need, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you have to stretch, you have to say yes to what you need. Okay. And it needs to be your default. Listen, I've told you my stories, and those are just a few of where my default was no. And it literally cost me. It cost me money. It cost me relationships. It cost me, it cost me all kinds of things. Like, and if I could go back and do some of those at that time, like, what would come out of that, right? So having a default setting of yes. And listen, if you want to stay in this group, you need to have a default setting of yes, because we are people who we do what we need to do. We don't complain. We don't try to coach ourselves. We don't try to get our peers to do it because they don't know either, right? Like, we say yes to what we need. If you're hungry and I go, here's a sandwich, and you're like, I'm so hungry, I need a sandwich. And I'm like, here's a sandwich, you just have to come and get it. And you're like, oh my God, I need a sandwich. I'm going to be like, okay, well, you don't want a sandwich. Okay. You know, it's like that story that was going around for years, and it was talking about how a flood had come to this city, and this guy was on a roof, and he was like calling out for somebody to come save him, you know, do this, that, and the third. And so the first person came by in a raft boat or a lifeboat, right? And was like, come on, climb off the roof, get in the raft boat, you know, I'm here to save you. And they were like, no, you know, whatever. And so they were like, all right. And so they paddled on, and then the next person came by with a rope, and was like, hey, you know, get on this float with me, blah, blah. I'm probably butchering the story, but you get the point. And they were like, no. And then the third person came along with a helicopter and a ladder, and like, you're going to have to jump, you know, to get on the ladder, but I'm here to rescue you. And they were like, no. And so they drowned. And then they got to heaven and were like, I thought you were going to come save me. And it was like, I sent you a boat, I sent you a raft, and I sent you a helicopter. You didn't want to jump in either one. You were going to have to jump into the lifeboat. You were going to have to jump with the rope. You're going to have to jump onto the ladder. You didn't want to jump. You know, you got to have a yes to what you want. It doesn't always look the way you thought it was going to look. Your life is not going to change for $49. If it was, everybody would be changing their life. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always amazed when people it's kind of like dieting, okay? It's exactly like dieting. Let me tell you the real reason why diets don't work. I saw this phrase the other day, and I was like, this is why diets don't work. And from a culinary perspective, I know you can absolutely feel me. Because a diet basically says, I want long-term results for short-term action. That you want long-term results for short-term investment and action. On what planet? If you didn't gain the weight overnight, what makes you think that 6 weeks is going to change your life and a $19 workout plan that you found on Pinterest, right? I'm always, you know, but you want to lose 50 pounds, 100 pounds. Like, no. Nowhere in life does it work like that, right? And so it's the same thing when it comes to business. People want to build these wonderful brands, and they want to make all this money, and they want this lifestyle that everybody wants. They want to work from home. They want to make money online. They want residual income. They want high, you know, to charge premium prices. They want to do all these things, and they think they're going to learn how to do it for free. insanity. You have to have skin in the game. And the amount of skin in your game is directly proportionate to the ROI that you want to have. So you got to have a yes. The third thing was you have to have a plan. You have to know where you want to go once you're honest about it. And the fourth thing is you have to have a roadmap. You have to have a guide. You have to have a step-by-step process to follow from someone who has been where you are trying to go so they can tell you how to get there. So I would love to take your questions. Don't forget about the masterclass tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. The link to register is below. And let's take a couple of your questions. I got a few minutes, and then I'm going to fix myself something to eat, and then we can go from there. So do you have any questions? I think that answered this one before from Maggie about not going to culinary school. Can you benefit from masterclass? Absolutely. Does anybody else have any questions or any ahas or takeaways? Like, was there anything that you were like, man, Evelyn, I hadn't really thought about it like that? Or something that you were like, ooh, that really hit me. I really need to lean into that. So let me know in the comments below. I'm really excited. I will say this, and have a spirit of yes when it comes to this group. There's going to be a lot of changes. Like I said, I just finished one amazing coaching experiences. I'm about to go into 2 new coaching experiences, and one of them is at a significant investment that I'm just like, girl, what are we doing? But you got to have skin in the game. And for where I'm trying to go, I need that level of investment. So, in myself. And if there are no questions or comments, then I want to thank you so much for your time. If you are watching the replay, make sure you share this with someone. If you're catching the replay on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, and the details about the masterclass are in the description box below. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.